Welcome to the podcast series Talking Success, Connecting the Global FinTech Community. I'm Catherine Brassel, and today I have the pleasure to be joined by Garry Harrison, who is the Chief Executive Officer at OARO. OARO is a global provider of enterprise identity and digital asset solutions, trusted by some of the world's largest private and public sector organizations. OARO's eco-friendly blockchain business embeds decentralized technology into everyday life, and they are leading the way in authenticating and authorizing in the physical and digital world using biometrics, cryptography, and blockchain. Hi, Garry. Thanks so much again for joining us on the podcast today. How's your week been so far?
Well, it's a Monday, first day of the week, Catherine. Thank you very much for inviting me onto the podcast. Really excited, but yes, it's a Monday. We're in the final month of quarter three. With quarter four just around the corner, and I have to admit, amongst the turbulence that we're seeing within the market at the moment, I'm super excited about where we OARO are going as a business for the remainder of the year. So it's a really good start to the week. Thank you, Catherine.
That's brilliant, Garry. I love that attitude, and very exciting to hear that there's a lot on the cards this year, well, for the remainder of this year with OARO. We'd love to just take a couple of steps back and hear really more about you, your career journey, really really try to understand and unpack what got you passionate about FinTech, and of course, to become the CEO at OARO.
No, that'd be great. No, thank you for asking. I've been in banking and technology now, dare I say, for over 25 years, predominantly focused on the capital market side and retail banking. And even as a teenager, dare I say, I've always been interested in the markets, capital markets, how those stocks, how those shares moved, how the whole funds system works, and it's an area I've always been hugely passionate about, and an area that actually I've always wanted to learn more about, and even now I'm continually learning about the sector that we work in, both from a banking and capital markets perspective, but also from a technology perspective as well. It's an area, it's a sector that continuously evolves. And I was passionate about it, dare I say, in my teens, and I'm passionate about it now. And I think if you're spending that much time within an area, you ultimately need to be happy and excited, about the things that you do. And for me, it's about making a difference and creating a difference within the markets that I operate in. And it's an immensely exciting place to be in.
Thanks, Garry. And you, of course, speak a lot about your passion for the tech space. It's obviously a very exciting space to be in at the moment. In your opinion, what have been some of the really exciting opportunities that have really opened up in the tech space? What can you tell us?
We are going through what I would call the fourth technology wave, the digital disruption wave, as we're all calling it. And just to kind of take a backtrack, I entered the technology world in the mid '90s during what I call the first cycle, which is all about the mainframe, the deployment of the mainframe through the likes of IBM, CSE, EDS, and that absolutely exploded. If you can remember back that far, the addressable. And we all thought that it was an exciting time, but actually, in terms of the total addressable market, it was only about 100 billions worth of a market size during that first wave, and then the second wave kind of came through in the late 90s, 2000s, which was really all about the IT stack and the disaggregation and the enterprise platforms that came through. So the SAPs, the Microsofts, if you remember, the Intels, the Oracles. And again, if you remember, that was hugely exciting as well as we went through that wave. That wave was about 3 times the size of the first wave at about 300 billions worth of total addressable market. And again, that was a really exciting place to be in. The third wave, as I call it, which was obviously kind of post 2000s, which was all about outsourcing, offshoring, and globalization. And there you had the emergence of the likes of Cognizant, Accentures, Infosys, the Tartars, and again you saw the next explosion of the cycle coming through. And again, that wave got much bigger at about over 650 billions worth of spend there. And actually the wave that we're in now, which is the digital disruption wave, that's the biggest ever area of opportunity, over 900 billions worth of total addressable market. And there's an awful lot happening. We've got a whole bunch of new entrances coming through, not only within the FinTech space, but you've got the emergence of Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platforms, Microsoft Azure, Salesforce, both large and small, really disrupting those prior 3 waves. And clearly for me, in the blockchain space, it's an area that has been around now for the last 10 years. But given we are now deep within this wave 4, the digital disruption wave, it really has taken off and captured people's imaginations in a really exciting way, actually. So yeah, I think tech has become really, really exciting. As we go through this next wave, both in terms of blockchain, but also in terms of the other technologies that we're seeing coming through, whether it's AI, robotics, and many other technologies that you can see within the marketplace there.
I love what you said about the fact that the technology is capturing people's imaginations, and on that wave of the digital disruption, how are OARO really doing things differently, particularly in terms of OARO being a very eco-friendly blockchain business, which of course embeds its decentralized technology into everyday life. We'd love to hear a little bit more about just what really is happening at OARO right now.
Yeah, no, good question. There's a number of blockchain businesses out there at the moment, and one of the there's many benefits around the distributed ledger technology out there. One of the downsides of the blockchain is it is incredibly kind of resource and energy hungry. It does burn a lot of CO2 emissions within the new infrastructure out there, and actually we wanted to build a blockchain piece of infrastructure which was very carbon neutral, and that's what we've done. It's effectively almost carbon net zero, one of the very few blockchains out there. But actually, if you take a step back, I think we see 2 fundamental problems, around the world at the moment. One is around climate and climate change, and hence, the type of blockchain that we built. We've seen, lots of problems both this year and over the last 5 years with some of the climate issues that we've had out there. I don't know about you, Catherine, over in South Africa, but in Europe we've had probably our hottest summer almost on record, and no doubt we've got an interesting winter coming through as well. So it's great to have built something which is so kind of carbon and neutral and climate friendly. But actually, I think one of the other systemic problems that we have out within the world at the moment, unfortunately, is around security, theft, and fraud. It's an area which is becoming even more problematic rather, as we go forward with the new digitalization, the new channels that we've got out there. It's becoming an ever more bigger problem. From the identity thefts through to money laundering, and obviously the regulation burden that sits on top of that. It's an area that many different industries are focused on, and it's an area that we decided to focus on within OARO to really kind of significantly reduce the amount of security theft and fraud that there is out there. And it's an area we're all incredibly passionate about. And I think the distributed ledger technology, the blockchain technology, really does help to significantly reduce some of these issues out within the marketplace.
Garry, looking more at yourself as the role of CEO and, of course, the company itself, talk to me a bit more about, building kind of the strong teams that you've got in place. Really, what's been, I would say, your formula for success here? And what can you let us know in terms of the company and the structure of its people?
Yeah, I mean the team's everything, isn't it? If you've got to have a strong team, and for me, it's about building a strong team, both effectively above and below me, for want of a better word. I really took the helm of the OARO business about 12 months ago. One of the first things I did was to put in place a new board, for want of a better word. We've got an incredibly strong board now, which with some very significant members on there from various kind of industry leaders that bring a number of different sets of skills and experiences to the team. I've got a super exciting chairman for the business, one of Canada's leading QCs, who brings a tremendous amount of experience to OARO, and is absolutely great to work with. And then we've built what we call an advisory board as well. So this has been made up of industry leading professionals from a number of different sectors across the market that again bring that expertise and value into OARO. And then we've also got a very strong management team in place. We've just onboarded a new chief marketing officer, a new global head of operations out within there, and one of the market's best chief revenue officers. So really kind of getting that great management team in place. And of course, you're nothing without delivery excellence. So it's all about wowing the customers and over delivering with the projects that we're working on. And we have a super tech team based in Madrid, over in Spain, which I'm excited about. But obviously, we're going through a huge growth period within the technology space at the moment, as you know, with your recruitment space on. Huge shortage of talent and expertise out there. So part of what we're doing is around retention as well, ensuring all of our employees and staff are happy, they're excited, the morale is high. So we have a number of initiatives that we're working through to ensure that we keep hold of our good people as well. Because you're nothing without good people and people who are genuinely excited about the things that we're working on as well. So far so good. But as we go forward, I think the war for talent, I think, is gonna heighten over the coming weeks and months ahead.
Looking at the remote work sort of situation at the moment, how would you say that that's kind of impact the way things are done at OARO? And what are your thoughts around, I suppose, what what the pandemic kind of had on all of that?
Yeah, the pandemic is really kind of giving us that opportunity to change the way in which we work. And I think pre-pandemic, I think most technology staff were office-based. They charged into the office every day and kind of came back out again. And I think what we're seeing now, certainly within OARO, and indeed, we're seeing it right across the market, is more of a hybrid way of working. A little bit from home, a little bit within the office, but really kind of empowering, I guess, people and our staff, and giving them that freedom to work, wherever they want to work. And I think we truly have a global workforce. We have people here in the Middle East, through to North America, in Canada, with Europe in the middle, so to speak. And we tend to kind of encourage people to come into the office a couple of days a week for knowledge sharing, team spirit, team around, just to ensure we've got that connection. We do a number of team offsites as well, which I think are always good fun. But having that ability to work hybridly through both your home and the office, I think is really important. And actually, we're seeing some great productivity increases off the back of it, and people are just generally much more happier, aren't they, with it?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of leads me on to my next question, more around you as a leader. How are you really driving performance, and how are you really, keeping up morale in that way and driving performance?
Yeah. I think you've heard the cliche, leading by example. So, it's one of those cliches out there, but I'm a huge fan of leading by example. So I really like to get my sleeves rolled up and get involved in all elements of the business, given the experience that I've got. And I think if you can't lead from the front, then I think you really will struggle. But as you can hopefully kind of sense on this call here, I'm naturally enthusiastic. I'm incredibly competitive in my nature, and I think if you've got a rapidly growing business that's genuinely making a difference out within the marketplace, I think we're quite fortunate in the way that people want to join a rapidly growing business that's going somewhere. We've just gone through a huge recruitment round. We'll go through another one in Q4, given the growth rates that we're seeing here, and we're attracting some really great talent into OARO, which I'm particularly excited about. But for me, it's as a leader, it's about really kind of recognizing people's skills. People bring different things to the table. They've got different personalities, different skill sets. I think you've got to recognize what they are and ensure that you really kind of bring the best of people, the best of those skill sets out from people, really, and you get people working together as a team. And I think that's the key trick. I think I've often seen what we call the superstars out there, and superstars are great, but they need to be able to work with a team and bring the team with them rather than work on their own. I think for me, it's about working collectively as a team to get to that end goal. I think is an important way of doing it.
Garry, let's focus our attention a bit more on blockchain. There's such a lot of exciting opportunity. What specifically, in terms of blockchain trends, are you really keeping an eye on, and that you think, listeners might find, really of interest that you can let us know about?
Scott, could you design a video game?
I could make you a hypothetical one. If I took some random genres, mechanics, maybe blended them together and created a new hypothetical game.
Now that would make a great podcast.
Undoubtedly.
So what would you make? Something original and exciting? A Dark Souls city builder? A co-op roguelike?
Everything. All of that. We could use the Nemesis system and put it in a first-person shooter. And we could have a loot system with survival mechanics and motion controls. And maybe you could ooh, I don't know, save a kingdom from some out-of-control toasters. What about party?
Catch the Gaming Blender on all your favourite podcast platforms.
Blockchain is growing at a huge rate of knots. If you look at the CAGR rates, so for those of us within technology, kind of really looking at the technology themes and trends, one of the important metrics that we look at is the compound annual growth rates. And if you look at the CAGR rates around blockchain, it's one of the highest growth segments in technology at the moment. And I think the reason why you're seeing such a huge amount of take-up within the blockchain space is it is genuinely changing the way in which we're working across many different areas. It is making a huge difference to the way in which we lead our lives around the world and the way in which it's being deployed within OARO. Through a combination of our blockchain, biometrics, and identity and tokenization, we're really kind of deploying this across a number of really exciting areas, actually, which is significantly differentiating, and really kind of the blockchain really helps to do this. A couple of good examples just to kind of help bring this to life. So I don't know how old you are, Catherine, but certainly with me, it was many years ago since I graduated as at a uni, and every now and again you have an employer or somebody asks you for your degree or diploma certificate, and I don't know about you, mine is in the garage somewhere, it's in the loft. Imagine if you tokenized your diploma or your degree certificate, and that was a digital asset which was stored in a very secure way on a blockchain, and actually, imagine if you could then attach that to whatever social platform you wanted to attach it to, whether it was a LinkedIn profile or an Instagram profile, dare I say, or you get a barcode on your CV where a future employer could just grab hold of that and have access to it. But actually that extends its way out to any form of certificate actually, or learning certificate that you might pick up as you go through life. So we're really kind of tokenizing through our non-fungible technology a whole bunch of diplomas, degree certifications, and learning certifications, and tokenizing them, which is super exciting, and rolling effectively that solution out across the world. Another great area where we're applying it is in the ticketing space, and again, I don't know if you've ever been to a football match or a sporting event recently, but invariably, there's a whole bunch of ticketing fraud and scammers out there, and it's quite an unpleasant, or it can be quite an unpleasant experience. But imagine if you tokenize that ticket, so you had a truly authenticated ticket in your possession. You could resell that on if you wanted to resell that on. Well, we're also able to attach post-event memorabilia to that ticket as well. So I know we can attach kind of some of your favorite video footage, some favorite photos, or some favorite content to that ticket as well. So really enhancing that whole customer experience with ticketing and going to that event. Commodities trading. So I don't know if you know commodities trading or structured products, but again, it's a very illiquid asset class, very paper-based, lots of contracts going paper-based, very archaic systems. So we've tokenized all of the contracts around commodities trading now, so you're able to effectively buy and sell commodities, a number of commodities, over an NFT platform, a tokenized platform now, and it really kind of moves that asset class into what was an illiquid asset into a liquid asset overnight. And the list goes on. I can give you many other examples. I guess from an ESG perspective, going back to our carbon footprint, we've just worked with a global real estate provider around fractionally tokenizing a huge part of the Amazon rainforest, and now you can buy a small piece of the Amazon rainforest through our tokenization technology there to help protect that really important area of the world there. So there's a lot of kind of opportunities and use cases where you can kind of look to deploy this tech here, Catherine, which makes it super exciting.
That really is all very exciting. Completely agree. And on that note, what can you divulge and let us know that's on the cards for the rest of the year at OARO? What can we expect, and what can our listeners look out for?
I've never seen technology move at the pace in which it is moving at the moment, and we at OARO are certainly not stood still either. So we're very much focused on and really kind of developing our next generation set of offerings, which is really kind of focused around Web3, around the Metaverse and DeFi there. Metaverse and Web3 really are poised to reshape the internet out there. And I think you'll see a huge difference in the way in which we engage, predominantly within the banking and the retail sector, when the Metaverse and Web3 take shape. So we are really kind of engineering that piece through at the moment. We're creating a number of, avatars, for want of a better word, which will be kind of images of yourself based on the Web3, where you'll be able to enter a number of different kind of marketplaces out there to buy and sell in a very secure environment, a number of products and propositions and assets that we've got out there. But it's going to be hugely exciting. I think we've seen the likes of Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook rebranding to Meta, but the amount of attention, spend, and investment that's going into the Metaverse is just incredible. And I think we've got some really exciting things to come, which is just around the corner actually. And I think we'll see a lot more of the Metaverse coming out towards the end of the year, early next year with this.
Thank you so much, Garry. It really has been such a pleasure speaking to you today, hearing, what's on the cards at OARO, speaking about all sort of the tech trends, obviously blockchain. So really appreciate you giving us such a great overview of all of that space at the moment.
Well, thank you. Thanks very much, Catherine. And thanks for inviting me on here. And it was super to talk with you. Thank you. Thank you so much again.
On a final note, if any of our listeners, Garry, would like to get hold of you, what would be the best way for them to reach out?
Yes, simply log on to the auro.net website, and you'll see all of our offerings and more about OARO there, along with my contact details on the website at auro.net, Catherine.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode, Talking Success, connecting the global FinTech community. Please follow us on LinkedIn under Talent in the Cloud, or if you're interested in exec talent, expanding your FinTech team, or you yourself are looking for an exciting change in your career, please check out our website, talentinthecloud.io.